Yo, this man just hit me in my face with a brick, and all these black men just watch, and they don't give a. Yeah, this man hit me, grabbed a rock, and he hit me in my face because I would have given him my number. And all y'all just watch.
What do you
Y'all
want to
see
do?
that?
What do you want to do?
What do y'all do? I want y'all to be a man. I want y'all to be a man. Do something. Y'all gonna let a man hit me in my face? What have I ever done to anybody in my life to deserve this? I never did anything in my life to hurt anybody. Literally, a man asked me for my number. I said no, and he picked up a brick in front of so many men and was like, "What you gonna do?" And I told all these men, like, "Yo, why this man got a brick on my face?" And he's holding a brick, and all these is watching, and nobody does nothing. And he hits me in my face, and then they all just watch, and they let that get in a car. How is this okay? This is what y'all doing to women? I really, like, don't understand. Like, I'm just trying to take my friend out from 5 years ago. Like, literally spending my whole money, not bothering nobody. Like, what the fuck kind of shit is this? I'm in the parking lot just trying to buy some food. And, like, I'm literally like, why is this busting up on me like this? And I'm looking at all these. They literally let this do all of this. They let this, like, really, like, do all of that. I never thought it was gonna happen, yo. Like, it's so whack. And he's gonna get away with it. He got in a car. He got away. He never gonna get caught. He's gonna move on. He's probably at an after party right now having a good time. Do you feel good about yourself doing this to a woman? For what? Like, all this violence against black women is not okay. Like, what do I do to deserve this? Like, what is my defense against this? It's been 12 hours. I'm in the hospital. I'm getting discharged. I do have a concussion, so I gotta take it slow for the week. Unfortunately, I don't have the kind of job that's gonna give me that kind of grace. So, I still got a mother. I still gotta teach. I still gotta work. I really just want the best for everybody, and I don't know why people want to kill me. I can't even chew food the next week. I had a vacation that I planned 6 months ago for my birthday. I'm so afraid. Like, why do people want to hurt me so bad? I really love my community, and just to know that, like, people hate me to this level, to this kind of level of violence.
Extraterrestrials, strange phenomena, missing persons, lost continents, myths, and monsters.
We examine these mysteries to determine, are they bullshit or not?
And now, for the moment all you motherfuckers been waiting for. All my flip mode niggas rise and await for the most powerful event to occur. The coming!
All right, I want to preface this by saying that everyone involved is likely a tether, a non-foundational black person and shit, but this is a good time for a teachable moment and shit. The woman in question, her name is Robashi. Okay, so I think she's of Somali origin, okay? And, those were her people doing that shit, okay? Those were her people. That had nothing to do with, brothers over here in the colonies. Nothing to do with brothers in America, the 3 Ks and Z. All right? Her name is Robashi, right? I think she's Somali in nature, and she's a fucking feminist, and she follows all the tenets of the women in this country that give us fucking grief every goddamn day. I'm talking about women in our ethnic community. She follows every last one of those motherfucking tenets, and she's a walking red flag and shit. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna address the brick in the head. I'm gonna address the brick in the head and shit. You know, when I watched this shit and I heard what she said to those men out there, I just say good for you. Okay, I don't give a fuck and shit. You women, after all 40 plus years of negativity and you know making our lives a living hell every fucking day, talking shit, partner up with the minority majority to stab us in the back and economically deprive us, miseducating our children and shit, raising them to be parodies of humanity and shit, and gross caricatures made flesh. It's time for you guys to, do that thing you always say and shit. Be strong, independent, because you don't need no fucking man. Okay? It's time for you guys to hold on to that, man. Clutch your pearls and shit, so to speak. We've been fending for ourselves for a very long fucking time, and you guys have been nowhere to be found and shit, except when the opportunity is to be had, posthumously or otherwise and shit, to gain something from our tragedy. Okay? Now you need to stop expecting men to come to your aid and shit. This situation will teach you a healthy fear of the outside world, okay? The diaspora that you walk around in and shit, okay? It's good to keep your head on the swivel as a woman and shit. You shouldn't automatically expect men to come to your aid. All right? I'm getting tired of women expecting men to come to their aid and shit. I want to say that over 80% of the bullshit that goes on in our ethnic community and shit is driven by some females' issues. Okay, there's a big problem with proxy violence. Proxy violence. That's people using other people to do their dirty work and shit. Mostly women. Mostly black women love to use some proxy violence. They use simps and white knights and baby's kids and shit to enact damage. Over the past few months, we saw a woman contact her kid and have her kid come in and murder a person and shit, and wanted him to murder other people and shit in the location. Okay? And I don't give a fuck. That woman in that situation could have avoided that shit by having a healthy fear and just shutting the fuck up as her assailant had, pleaded with her mentally ill assailant, mentally compromised and shit. Every time you guys do something shitty and fucked up and insane, they rug sweep it because it's us. Okay? Because it's black men the bottom of the barrel in this society and shit. That's why we're getting the fuck out. Okay? That's why a lot of guys are just getting the fuck out or turning everything off and shit. Turn off the lights on your ass. Okay? Good for you. Okay? Brick in the head, man. Brick in the fucking head. And, I want to reiterate, these were tethers, okay? These were people of Somali origin and shit. She got hit in the head by somebody from her own country. She ain't got no cause to be online adding to the discourse and shit between the sexes over here. We have enough women to do that. Okay? Every hour of every fucking day, 365 days in a year, you can find multiple videos disparaging black men for various things and shit, just dragging us through the mud and shit. And we're just tired of it. So these receipts is coming and shit. You enjoy that brick in your head. That concussion should give you a moment of clarity, about how you move out in society and shit. Keep your fucking head on the swivel. Maybe you should get yourself a conceal and carry and shit. Maybe you might want to consider that the guy that was fucking with you was mentally impaired and shit. Maybe he was mentally fucked up. And that's why he did that shit. And maybe if you had some personal protection and whatnot, then he would be laid out and shit. And you just have a concussion. Okay, you can always get a weave and cover that misshapen part of your head until it goes back to normal or whatever. Maybe you can pull the other half out and just have a circular head. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think you were right to yell at those men over there that were looking at that shit and didn't do nothing. Okay? Why should they be expected to protect you? Why should any kind of chivalry be extended to women who have thrown away their femininity, and wagged their asses in the face of their men and told them they ain't getting shit and they ain't shit and the kids ain't shit. Okay? And they're going to do what they want to do. And when the math ain't mathing, Get in line and all that bullshit we've been listening to. We get in line and walking out the fucking door. Okay? Good for you. Good for you, man. Miss Robosh, I don't have nothing against you, okay? I went to your social media and looked at you. You're just a walking red flag, okay? You even did the Kiki Palmer thing about leaning into the body, shaking your. Well, she has a big ass, fellas. Okay, she has a real big, giant ass. It's kind of chunky and shit. It's ghetto style built and shit. So it's not like we don't know. Maybe she has that shape naturally, or she just eats really bad. She has bad food habits. Okay, I don't know. Fuck you. Okay, I'm not shitting on you because you're from somewhere else and shit. I'm shitting on you for your rhetoric and the shit I saw on your social media talking about smashing the patriarchy and all that shit. And it looks like the patriarchy smashed you in the head with a fucking brick. Good for you. Okay? Good for you and good for women like you that expect immediate protection wherever you may be from strangers, okay, that don't fucking know you. You expect them to throw their lives on the line and jump on a wire for you when you're out of pocket and out in society, and your rhetoric would dictate that you don't need any help. Okay? At least you want to rethink all that bullshit that you put out, okay? All right? She has a social media page called Roll Reports. Okay? Roll Eye Reports. Roll Reports. She talks, it has a bunch of clips there, and a lot of it's focused on her body. Okay? She is a curvy figure, right? Fluctuates between being a chunky and okay, all right? But she got a brick in the fucking head from one of her own people and shit. Maybe you Somalis can, come to the table, that metaphorical table, bring something over there, and you can figure out why you got hit in the head with a fucking brick, okay? That's all I really have to say about this situation. Other than, I really want to impress upon you young kings out there that a lot of the bullshit, over 85% of the bullshit that goes on in our community is fueled by malfeasant women's issues, okay? You know if you've been involved with proxy violence, and I think that if you know that a woman is about to employ proxy violence, I think you should consider yourself in a mutual combat situation and shit. I'll put it that way. All right? We need to break the chains, okay? Take away everything, okay? We're not just getting passports and leaving and shit. We're shunning all of the bullshit. We're breaking generational curses by not following the men that came before us, not doing what they did and shit, not settling for codependency and misery and shit, okay? And we don't make it a habit to tear down black women and shit, but you guys do it every fucking day, every hour of the fucking day for 365 days a year and shit. And you don't expect there to be any checks and balances or consequences and shit. All right? There's rules to this game and shit these days, okay? There's rules to this game. If you want some protection and shit, I think that you should look to your blood relations. Maybe you should go out with a chaperone. They do that in other cultures. I've seen it, okay? A lot of cultures. They have the women escorted by a family member as a bodyguard and someone to safeguard their chastity and shit. I've seen it. All right? The whole chastity thing, we could throw that out the window, obviously. But, at least you can count on family, count on blood, theoretically and shit. But then again, everything's been turned on its head through social engineering and shit. And the fact that, women with a childish mind, 4 decades ago were put in charge of the family, what used to be nuclear families. And the end result is what you have today and shit, a bunch of entitled, childish females and shit who don't want to do shit, can't pair bond, have no respect for their man, and have the mindset of a clan member and want to see you fail and shit, okay? And you expect protection and shit. You got a brick in the face, and I say good for you.
But wait, there's more.
I got home safe. Didn't even get harassed once. It was so peaceful. Like, my titties didn't even pop out, not once. My ass was twerking the whole time. And I don't care what nobody says. That is moving meditation. And I definitely count that as today's meditation. Check. I was like right next to the stage, right next to the queen. I mean, look at this. Look at this shrinkage. You know the humidity was out there just being real disrespectful. Look at this suntan. Like, skin. Skin. I had a time tonight. I had a time.
Niggas filled out murder something. Spitting that shit, guaranteed. Freeze it. Yeah, call me sweat, call me sweat. Yeah, put bitches on their back, put bitches on their back. I ain't know. Ain't asking where his bitch at, just don't get him when she go.
So men weaponize respectability politics in the same way that white people weaponize it. So for example, if a white person was harassing a black person down the street and we find out that he's a doctor, immediate outrage. But if he was a felon, we wouldn't even know about it because it's excusable. It's the same way that like when police kill unarmed black people, the first thing they do is try to demonize the victim, the black person, and they try to go in their past and find anything that does not consider respectable to excuse that violent behavior. So we know it's not about the violence. It's about who you're violent towards. Which is why I wanted to discuss why Sukihana was sexually harassed. Yes, everybody's saying that it's because, you know, she has vulgar lyrics and the way she dresses and the way that she behaves. And I think it does have a lot to do with all of that. In fact, I know it does. But I also want to point out that, like, black women have always been ungendered and over-sexualized in this country since the beginning. Like, even in slavery, black women were in the field with the men doing masculine work, but then they came back to the barracks and had to cook and clean and try to avoid rape from both men, black men and white men alike. So we've always been ungendered, never seen like, oh, you're a woman, you shouldn't be doing this man's work, but always also seen over-sexualized. And there are so many women who have vulgar lyrics and who have a sexual persona, but this wouldn't happen to every single one of them. So for example, Saweetie, who has a proximity to whiteness, who's petite, this wouldn't happen to her. Imagine somebody pulling Saweetie's face over and over and over again and nobody being like, oh my God, save that petite woman. Or for example, Cardi B, who's married, she's attached to a man. I'm sure if that was Cardi B, somebody would have stood up like, no, don't do that to Offset's girl. You know what I mean? But because Sukihana is dark-skinned, does not assimilate to whiteness, is not petite, and is not attached to a man, that's why it really happened to her. There are plenty of women who have vulgar lyrics who this would never happen to. Which reminds me of an example of like when Chelsea Handler, the biggest hoe I've ever seen thus far, went on Breakfast Club where Charlemagne, I don't know, he might have evolved now, but back then he was treating black women, especially women that he didn't deem respectable, like shit. And when she came on his show, he was respectful, he was kind, he was nice, even though she was mean as hell to him. This woman has made her whole career about being a slut and an alcoholic. She wrote several books and went on several comedy tours about being a slut, yet he never said one vulgar thing to her. Excuse me, thank you.
Big subwoofer in the back, like what's up, blow the windows out of frame. It's a party when I pull up. Big subwoofer in the back, like what's up, blow the windows out of frame. It's a party when I.
What have I ever done to anybody in my life to deserve this? I never did anything in my life to hurt anybody. What have I ever done to anybody in my life to deserve this? I never did anything in my life to hurt anybody.
Bitch, you front 10 acting like it's your time of the month in. You hoes been wildin' acting like you a fucking childin'. Running your mouth and talking shit from Timbuktu to dust south and frontin' and stuntin' acting like a bum and about to have these brothers out here dumping, taking your white knights out here thumping. Overeating out here, snacking, running your rot mouth and dirty mackin'. Out here tricking BBL fucking whacking, bubblegum lips straight up smacking. Bitch better run a fucking credit check and got these niggas straight up bailin'. Uber driving, dumpster diving, and everybody know you jive in.
Talking that whack shit like you fucking thriving. Rent a center and you're livin'. Ah shit, better watch out here. Come that company line and hoes out here looking to dine in, always fixin' they mouth whining.
The Black Patriarchy. A non-existent group of fictional black male power brokers not discredited, erroneously jailed or outright killed by the minority majority who look the other way as they work tirelessly to shame, oppress, and outright take out the altruistic black female populace of the honorable democratic United States of America. 3K's inset bitches. These evil wealthy members of the Black Patriarchy are the sole reason for all the ills of the black community, walking, talking, holding down jobs and doing everything up to and including giving their very lives in service to their baby mamas and baby's motherfucking kids. Their motto that strikes fear into the hearts of black women everywhere: bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.